Put that music down!
Friday! Hey, here we go. There's your little Friday song here to kick off the show. It is Mornings in Meridian, a Friday edition, December the 6th. And good morning, folks. Glad you're making us a part of your Friday morning. Chilly start out there this morning. We're in the upper 20s, so dress warm as you head out the door this morning. But a lot of things going on this weekend. We'll talk all about it right here. And, of course, you can talk to us as well at 601-485-9191 is our number. And, of course, we're on Facebook Live this morning, YouTube, and, of course, on your desktop, WALTmeridian.com, and that WALT mobile app, and you can listen right there on your smart device. You got Rob here this morning, 12 minutes into the hour, and joining us this morning for a Friday appearance is Dr. Toby Bates.
Good morning.
Hello.
I'm not saying it was cold outside, but this morning, my car's a push start.
Yeah.
I use my left nipple to push start my car.
Wow.
I had to get a nipple joke in there somewhere on Fun Friday.
Somehow, some way, right? How are you?
I'm fine. I think you don't have to. Let's see. Looking over the rules here. With Dr. Jill Biden soon to leave the White House. Sorry.
Oh, no.
I think you'll be professor or even Toby. That doctor thing, she gave us kind of a bad way on that thing.
Yeah, I know, right? So a lot to go over here on a Friday as we get set for a busy weekend here in East Mississippi and West Alabama. Parade Palooza continues tonight. A lot of parades going on for the Christmas season and a lot of events in downtown Meridian as well. So we'll go over that entire schedule with you coming up. Of course, the Bell's Best Cookbook Sale continues today. Final day for that. Across the street from the Christmas tree at City Hall in downtown Meridian. Miss Teresa and them will have the cookbooks available for purchase beginning at 8:30 this morning till 4:45 down in downtown Meridian. So last chance to get those, and we'll go over all the other events coming up. So no reason not to say, oh, nothing going on this downtown day.
Yeah.
So we'll get into all that coming up. But let's go ahead and start out the show by thanking one of our favorite sponsors. I tell you what, they're all fantastic folks, but we love talking about John Dufour and the wonderful staff at Battery One Source. And to steal the phrase from Hazmat, don't be a dumb bunny. Go to Battery One Source.
You had me frightened there for a moment.
Yeah, well, what is he going to say?
Ladies and gentlemen, do you know that over 60% of things in your home are run by batteries? Did you not know that? I'm not talking about that thing you have hidden either in that drawer way back in the back.
Whoa!
I'm talking about flashlights.
Aha!
Come on, all right? But Battery One Source right here in Meridian, 2618 North Frontage Road. Again, John Dufour, the man so nice they named him twice.
Yes.
He can help you out. And that's the thing that quite often happens, right, is that Christmas time and batteries are very closely linked. First of all, you forget the basic batteries, right? You forget those things for the toys and things that Santa leaves at the house. But what about that car battery you need to have tested?
Oh.
Because you go out, you're going to be really smart. You're going to load the car up the night before, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because the next day you've got to go to your aunt's house, the one that has the mustache.
Ooh.
And you go out and you turn the key over and it does a Joe Biden on you. Nothing. Literally nothing. Folks, don't let that happen. You can get your car battery tested there. They'll also check out your cables, your tenders, your maintainers. And yes, there are many parts to a car battery, as well as if you need batteries for perhaps you're going to recycle a laptop, cell phone, things like that. They'll have the battery there, or they can find it for you. And the story I love to tell real quick is the video camera I found that time at a college football game that was actually laid out, and I was able to find the owner of that videotape because the battery was dead.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't get it to work. And I called Battery One Source again, 1500. They helped me out.
Bang.
Battery returned. I kept the tape, and you would have too, right? So that's Battery One Source, folks, 693-1500.
Well, last night was a big night up in New York. They had the Fox Patriot Awards, and the honorary Patriot of the Year was the soon-to-be 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, took to the stage last night. Would you like to hear the speech, Mr. Bates?
I'd like to hear a little bit of that. You bet.
Yeah. So this was Donald Trump last night. He accepted that award at the Patriot Awards, of course, hosted by the great Sean Hannity, which you can hear here on WALT later today at 2. Here's a few snippets of the speech last night. Of course, it was over on Fox Nation, the streaming platform for Fox News. But here's a little bit of the speech. Yeah, shocker.
Well, I want to thank everyone. This is quite a group. I have so many friends sitting right here. Oh, there's one that he was calling me early on. He was saying, why are you going through this process? You know he's going to win. He's big, he's strong. I will never fight you. I'm going to tell you that.
Pointing at Tyrus.
But right from the beginning, right? Right from the beginning. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Great guy. So how about Sean? Is Sean just great, you know? And he said every single thing that I was going to say, and what the hell, I can't say it again. But he's a special guy. He's been my friend for a long time. I probably shouldn't say a friend, but he is really a friend. He's a friend to the country. And I just want to thank Sean Hannity. He's a great guy. And his ratings are very good too, which is very important. Which is very, very important. And you really do. You have incredible people at Fox. You have incredible people at every level of Fox, really. A couple I don't like, but that's all right. I shouldn't name them, should I? I don't think so. I shouldn't name them. Good Lord. But, you know, we had just a spectacular election. They were thinking it was going to be close, and it wasn't close. We won the popular vote by millions and millions of votes. We won all 7 swing states. And we won the most votes ever gotten by millions by a Republican candidate. And I think I can say also a Democrat candidate, but I won't bother getting into that. We had tremendous, it was a tremendous day, a tremendous night, a tremendous period of time. 72 days, it really started 72 days before. No day off, no play, no golf, no nothing. I didn't want to even play golf, even though it's sort of a good thing to run through a course. Thank you, darling. It was all work. It was all work because we have a very important job to do. We have to win and we have to bring our country back. When you look at all of the people that flow through open borders, who could ever want open borders? Who would want that?
I know.
And when I heard that, I heard it 3.5 years ago. And, you know, we built 571 miles of wall. We ordered another 200, which is far more than I said we were going to do, but we ordered another 200. And I heard that they weren't going to use it because we had a very bad result in that election. You remember that night? That was not a pleasant night, but we had a very bad result, very unfair situation. We're going to get things straightened out in this country, including elections. We got to get the elections. This one was too big to rig, you know, it was too big to rig. They tried, and then they just dropped their placards and went home. They said, "This is a slaughter," and but we're gonna do things that have been really needed for a long time, and we are going to look at elections. We want to have paper ballots, one-day voting, voter ID, and proof of citizenship. A little thing.
Yeah, when you heard that part right there, we had played. I played the entirety of the speech, and it's about 11 minutes. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but later on in the speech, he thanks a bunch of people and kind of a Trump-esque type speech, "Make America Great Again," and talking about his cabinet and whatnot. But when it got to that part of the speech where he talked about the paper ballots, day of voting, you lit up like this Christmas tree over here in the corner. It was just like, what a novel idea.
What a novel idea. That's right. That's right. And I also love the fact that we were, 4 minutes into that or something. And
yeah, I
was never once by the president or president-elect made to feel guilty. I wasn't told my country is horrible, that I have to give more power to the government before things get better.
Yeah.
That's kind of refreshing and historical.
This is our first show together since the election. I know you've been on once before where I was out of town at the time, but boy, a lot of history wrapped up in this election.
And I so enjoyed listening to the program. That's why everyone comes to 102.1. That's why everyone comes here to find out what's going on. And I really enjoyed listening and watching up from Tupelo the morning after the election. You guys were wow.
Didn't get much sleep that night, so stayed up and watched everything. So, but
were you worried about a little 3 o'clock mail-in dump?
No, I was not.
I don't mean dump in a bad way. I mean dump in the best way of the word.
Yeah, I felt pretty good when I went to bed that night. Earlier that morning.
Yeah, I'm sorry we didn't win. Folks,
I know.
Remember the last time I was here?
It was a tough night, tough result, but we will regroup and look at it in 4 years.
Well, your scandal didn't help, but we're not allowed to talk about that anymore.
Not gonna say it, but just saying. So, but that was a great speech last night. That was about maybe 3 or 4 minutes of his speech last night at the Patriot Awards, which is a great event that Fox does over on Fox Nation. I really encourage you, and I'm not getting paid by Fox to say this, but I personally have Fox Nation. It is a great streaming platform, and Sean Hannity actually has a brand new show on Fox Nation. It's nothing politics. It's just him sitting down having a conversation. And his first episode in this new series, he sits down for an hour, no politics, just talking about life, religion, entertainment, how they just heck of an interview.
Well, I was going to ask you about the streaming before I do that real quickly. Yeah, Sylvester Stallone, we make fun of him because sometimes he gives us reasons to. But it's an amazing story that he has, and the fact that he had to sell his dog at one point just to eat, right?
Yeah, he talked about in that interview. I finally got to finish it up yesterday. He talked about Rocky a good bit and how people relate to that story so much. But the offer he got initially, because he wrote the script in 3 days, and they offered him like $20,000. And he went to the park that day, and he actually went to Balboa Park.
Wow.
Sat down on the bench and thought, you know what? I could never look myself in the mirror if I just take that. It's like, it's more valuable than this in my eyes. And he wanted to star in it so bad. He said, this is my story and I want to tell it to everybody. I wrote this. This is mine. And look how it worked out. 10 Academy Award nominations and 1 Best Picture. And of course, that just kind of launched his career from there. So.
Sure. And you talk about someone who has their finger on the pulse of lines that work with Americans. We want our country to love us as much as we love it. It's not about how hard you hit, how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. We've all quoted these Rocky lines, whether we realize it or not. And every male or identifying as male who's listening to the program this morning, there's not a single one of you that hasn't at one point, if you've worked out, if you've exercised at all.
Oh, that's
You've listened to the Rocky thing.
No doubt.
Right.
No doubt.
Right. It's kind of like, it's like another truism. There's those who've listened to the Rocky theme and those who've lied and say they haven't.
Sure.
Right. And so, and it is an amazing story. So getting back to the streaming service, some of the documentaries that I see actually win some pretty significant awards.
It's pretty good. So it's a heck of a service. But of course, that's where the Patriot Awards were at last night. But Trump, obviously, there toward the end of the ceremony, they're the honorary Patriot of the Year. Of course, they gave out a lot of other awards last night, and Sean Hannity was the host. But just figured we'd play a little bit of the speech because obviously it's not going to be, put back out there on a lot of the cable channels because of it being on a streaming platform. So, but
and it wasn't all celebrity winners. I believe I saw a widow of a slain police officer won.
Yeah, that was a pretty emotional moment last night. Former NYPD officer that was slain, obviously in the line of duty, and his wife accepted that award last night, which was pretty touching. So, but it has been a very interesting last several days and weeks across the nation. 601-485-9191. Also going to get into the latest on Pete Hegseth as well. I'm pretty sure you've been following that, Toby, with all of the cabinet choices, and Hegseth seems like he's got the most controversy around him, but we'll get into that coming up. But first, let's head down to exit 150 and thank our good friends down at the Magnolia Restaurant at the Queen City Truck Stop. Folks, you know what day it is. We've been celebrating Friday since we've got on the air this morning, and that means one thing: fish.
Big time.
Yeah.
And actual fish.
Yeah, actual fish.
Yeah, it's fish that's if you get the fried, then it's not big clusters of fried, I guess, air and maybe a little bit of fish.
Oh, a little bit.
But to link this to Trump, and of course, why not? RFK. Did you know that Queen City is on his list of places to remain open?
There you go.
Because of the freshness of the food?
Yes.
The fact that the vegetables are their color that they're supposed to be.
Right.
It looks like when you order the vegetable plate or get the vegetables with any kind of the meat stuff you have, like for today, we got chicken wings today. We got, the fried catfish fillet. You've got fried chicken with some white meat or dark meat, right? And those grilled pork chops or fried pork chops. Well, you get those sides of veggies, right? It looks like those crayons that we used to get, right? The rich kid always got the 64 with the sharpener in the back.
Oh, yeah.
And I had the 8 count, the big fat ones, right? But anyhow, but no, again, it's crisp. It's delicious. Things that are supposed to be soft are soft and delicious. Things that are supposed to be hard, like a carrot or something like that. It's got a great snap to it. And the people actually, when they say good morning to you or they say good afternoon to you, you know what? They mean it.
Yes.
So just don't take our word for it. If you're maybe like the, I don't know, second or third person never would have eaten there, you've got to go down to Queen City Truck Stop, Magnolia Restaurant, exit 150. They're open right now. They're waiting on you. And just take a look at their menu. And also, real quick, take a look around the room. I guarantee you'll see somebody you know at Queen City. Good stuff.
So we just heard from Trump last night at the Patriot Awards. Joe Biden is back in the States after his trip overseas, where he gave, $1 billion to
Angola.
Yeah, Angola.
Mm-hmm.
The Christmas tree lighting ceremony was in D.C. last night. So you heard Trump, the soon-to-be president, 47th. Well, here was Biden last night speaking at the tree lighting ceremony.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
All right.
Merry Christmas.
He said Merry Christmas. Okay.
This Christmas tree lighting is one of my wife Jill's favorite events.
What? What's
So
it?
she truly regrets not being here tonight.
Oh.
She's on an international trip in Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, and Sicily
Oh.
in order to promote women's health research. She sends her best wishes to all of you on behalf of Kamal and Doug. Where are Kamal and Doug? There you go.
They're
Welcome on behalf of them, welcome to the National Christmas Tree Lighting. Thank you. Mickey, all the artists are performing tonight. Special thanks to the Jones family for their service and sacrifice in our military families. Tonight, they'll help light this beautiful tree. Mickey, will you start the countdown?
All right, y'all, let's count down together, people.
So, yeah.
Well, just not only Trump and Biden, but Mickey.
Yeah, Mickey.
Now, look, I'll give him this. I mean, honestly, how old is President Biden? Is he 94?
I'm not lost count.
So he did just get back from Africa. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Right?
I'll give him this. He said Merry Christmas. I'll give him that.
He got the date right. Right.
Yeah.
But and the season right. But wow. I've never thought about that, putting them side by side.
I just wanted to play that this morning since we just played. And to be fair here, that clip that I found, it was only a minute long. The Trump speech was a speech last night. So I don't want everybody to say, well, he's just playing a little bit of what Biden said. That's the only clip that was provided here, because you know how some people are.
Well, that's about how far he probably went.
Probably so. But I just wanted to put that up side by side and just, it speaks for itself.
And I thought it was really kind. You did edit, folks. He did edit the tape a little bit, because he does say Merry Christmas again. He goes, as we begin to approach the 20th century. So you were nice to not include that. That was nice.
That was on the cutting room floor.
That's right.
So, but just the good grief. And then they showed a picture of his hair. It looked all disheveled. It like blew up, like the old man hair that blows up here in the back. He looked like Bernie Sanders when he was wearing the mittens that time. You remember that picture?
I remember that very well.
Like the crazy Bernie hair.
So he had the wake up on the recliner hair.
That's what it looked like. So bless his heart.
Bless his heart. That's
Yeah.
right.
So, so it's been a pardon week, and now a horse speech at the tree lighting last night.
And
So
we have to touch on that. I know there's callers wanting to call in about it, but we have to touch on the pardon thing sometime today.
yeah, I know we've covered it a good bit this week, but it just, after yesterday, we talked about the COVID deal, Fauci. I think that's on the radar too. I think after our discussion yesterday. So we're going to take a break. Your Money Now, along with Fox News and your phone calls. Hit us up, 485-9191. We'll be back.
There's a place you can go. I said, young man, when you're short on your dough, you can stay there. And I'm sure you will find many ways to have a good time. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA.
What to do sitting down?
People on Facebook are like, what are they drinking?
Well, those you know me.
There you go. The easiest dance in the world. Trump has invented it. It's crazy. Which they did play that at the end of his speech last night. He got into the whole, he does the fist thing and then he waves the arm. So he did that at the end of the speech last night.
But just the athletes that have been doing it. And
oh, yeah, in the football. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you notice how the NFL, talking about the Trump dances, that's what they've kind of coined it in the NFL. They were going to put a statement out about it. And I think Stephen A. Smith over on ESPN, which he is not a conservative by any stretch of the imagination, said, why? Let them do what they want to do.
Yeah. One of the few, again, if you look at my keys, you can kind of tell what team I root for. I try to. They make it hard, but Brock Peters, tight end rookie, had an incredible season so far.
Yeah,
he broke into the Trump dance a few weeks ago, and the Raiders actually made him unavailable to the media after the game.
Yeah,
I mean, so we have this returning president who won overwhelmingly, dancing to a song that's what 40 years old. How old's the song?
At least, and plus, what the guy who played the cop in the Village People, he's come out and said that, he's fine with it. Yeah, because you're making a lot of money off of it. So he's like, sure, go ahead and do what you want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can tell that, people are talking about how this is a kind of a lighter Trump. He kind of knows a little bit more what he's doing now. He's not so much over. Time then was the soundtrack to Air Force One.
Yeah.
The Harrison Ford movie.
Yeah.
Now it's the Village People.
Yeah.
So I know one campaign.
What a change.
Yeah, one campaign claimed to have some joy. No, but people are feeling good.
Yeah,
people are feeling good, especially the ones getting pardoned. But
yeah, especially the ones pardoned. How do you think the January 6th folks feel right now? So,
but in a few weeks.
Yeah, in a few weeks. Yeah.
But I never thought. I mean, in my wildest dreams. And we're supposed to know, because we study dead people, we're supposed to know kind of where things are going, maybe. Nowhere did I put him back in the White House, and nowhere did I put the Village People
in the conversation.
We're still in clown world. It's just going our way now.
Could you see the Village People performing Inauguration Day? Ooh. Wouldn't that be hilarious?
That'd be a great idea.
It's like, what century are we living in?
That's right. And politics doesn't really matter when you wave money at them.
Exactly.
Kamala Harris learned that real fast.
Exactly. How's that budget looking? 21 minutes away from the 8 o'clock hour. Thanks for making us a part of your Friday morning at 601-485-9191 as we all bundle up here on this Friday morning. And, sometimes it's going to happen. You're going to be driving down the road and you're going to hear that little ting tick on your windshield, and you're just going to be like, oh, please don't be a rock peck, please. And then you look down, and sure enough, it is. And before too long, the way this weather's been going up and down and all around, Toby, it might start to spread across right in the middle of your windshield. Could impair your driving. Well, you need to go down and see Adam and Adam today at A&A Glass.
Exactly right. I drove Kathy's car down today. I left it around 4 a.m. from Tupelo.
Yeah.
And she was still asleep, so I took her car. And
wow.
Well, she was in the other room. It didn't matter. But as the sun starts coming up, I see on the right side she has this massive crack in her windshield.
Oh no!
Right. And that's what kind of happens, isn't it, fellows, when you drive your spouse's car, right? You get in it and you realize, honey, how long's it been doing this?
Yeah, exactly. You start to notice a lot of things.
Isn't that factory installed? No, honey, it's not supposed to lean that way.
No, dear.
No, but I saw that and I thought, I honestly thought, Adam and Adam at A&A Glass, if it hadn't gone too far, right? And that's the thing to do, folks, because as Rob said, this temperature going up and down and the cold weather, especially you park outside, it'll make that little crack or that little dink really run. And if you get to it, early, you're saving yourself about $300 to $400, right? So NA Glass, go by and see them. They can also talk to you about what you need, what you don't need, as far as what type of glass and things such as that. And you get a free estimate, and they'll beat any price you're going to deal with. And they're at what was it? 21.7, not 21.7, what, 217.
Yes.
That's how the folks say it. 217 22nd Avenue, just what, a couple doors down from the Children's Museum?
Yeah. Or as we like to say, Sela Ward Calhoun Parkway.
That's right. Sela Ward Parkway. But go by and see them today. And if you have, a loved one or whatever, that really is a great Christmas present.
Okay.
Because again, that glass is not going to do what it's built to do if it has a lot of structural issues with it. So again, A&A Glass, 693 Glass, 693-4527, A&A Glass.
Toby, what do you think about this whole the cabinet pick so far? I know it's gone pretty quickly here with Trump picking a lot of the choices here for his cabinet. Of course, Matt Gaetz, that was obviously a very controversial pick for more ways than one. But now the looks like the fire is going toward Pete Hegseth now for the position of the Secretary of Defense. Well, he spoke to the media yesterday. He's been on Capitol Hill the last several days, having some one-on-one meetings with several senators. And there seems to be a couple of senators, Joni Ernst and Lindsey Graham, behind the scenes. They won't admit it in front of a camera, but there's some kind of a campaign going on behind the scenes. They just don't want him.
Well, what you're running into, and Robin, you know this, when you go outside the machine, right, the political machine, when you go out and pick individuals who you think will actually do what the job entails, and you get away from the political machine, you get away from the control of your self-image, right, the burying of things that you want out there, you're gonna run into individuals who've lived somewhat an interesting past.
Yeah,
I don't think it's quite as interesting, or people make it out to be, but I thought he was very honest yesterday when he said there were kernels of truth and some of the things that are out there.
Yeah, this is the statement he made real quick.
Yeah.
I just got a small clip here. He spoke to members of the media out in the hallway, and I had to kind of search for one of these clips because, when you're in the Capitol, everything echoes so bad when they try to talk to some of these senators or anybody there when they're walking by trying to get a sound bite from them. The only time you ever get anything out of them is when they're actually standing outside. You can actually hear them a lot better. But Hegseth was surrounded with microphones all in his face. And this is what he had to say to basically all of the media, all the cable channels, networks, everybody's there in front of him. And this is what Hegseth had to say yesterday.
I'm proud of what I fought for. I'm not going to back down from them one bit. I will answer all of these senators' questions, but this will not be a process tried in the media. I don't answer to anyone in this group. None of you, not to that camera at all. I answer to President Trump, who received 76 million votes on behalf and a mandate for change. I answer to the 100 senators who are part of this process and those in the committee. And I answer to my Lord and Savior and my wife and my family. I'm proud to be here. And as long as Donald Trump wants me in this fight, I'm going to be standing right here in this fight, fighting to bring our Pentagon back to what it needs to be.
So there you go. That was his about 40 seconds yesterday is how long that clip was. So, and I'll be honest with you, when you look at some of these stories, the drinking problem has been brought up. Of course, the sexual situation that happened in that hotel room in 2017 has been brought up. Let's be honest here. Everybody up in those two chambers of Congress, I don't think any of them are lily white as far as being clean, if you get what I'm saying. Catch my drift. So if we want to start airing out laundry, let's look at some of them folks as well. And Hegseth has freely admitted he has had problems in the past, but who hasn't? Who hasn't? But he just happens to be in the process of being the potential nominee for a very important position, the highest position there at the Pentagon. And, he's being pretty honest right there. The Pentagon needs some cleaning up.
That's right. And when President Trump is talking about going into government waste, not just the Pentagon, but elsewhere, that machine, that living organism, Ronald Reagan said there's nothing closer to eternal life, right, than a government program, right? And he also said government programs like a newborn baby, right?
Yeah.
An insatiable appetite at the mouth and no sense of responsibility at the other end, right? And so he's challenging that. President Trump, with this nominee, is challenging that machine. So that machine's going to come after him, right? And again, the Democratic Party in the past has been the It's been a pinnacle of second chances.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and also it's swallowed quite a bit and allowed quite a bit.
Yeah.
And this is a man that did not probably ever foresee being picked for this particular job.
Yeah. When he was one of the first ones announced.
Mhm.
In this process, and I'm familiar with Pete Hegseth because he was obviously on Fox and followed a little bit of his military background from him telling stories on Fox Nation, but I was very shocked by the pick when it happened. It's like, okay, that's a little out of the box.
Mhm.
And so this is different for Trump, because if you remember the first term, it was a lot, I want to say insiders, but it was a lot of people that had been around the machine a while, like
That's
you
right.
said, and some of these picks are off the beaten path,
Right,
Which
because
is probably good.
Well, because many of those picks he chose in 2016, he trusted the wrong people.
Yeah, that
'Cause,
too.
again, they weren't going to do anything but
Status quo,
right, work to feather their nest and work
Mhm.
to maintain their power. I've also wondered, and Pete could be in on this. I've also wondered, we have had politicians in the past put forth a name,
Mhm.
knowing it's never going to go through,
Yeah,
and they have someone else in mind, and so they use one to kind of throw the blocks for the other.
Sure.
But he's admitted this. I don't do these things anymore, right?
Mhm.
And let's move on. So we'll see if that works for him the way it's worked for so many other politicians on both sides.
Do you feel like he's being Kavanaugh'd? As I've termed that, he's being Kavanaugh'd in some sense.
Well, he's admitted to look again those kernels of truth. Kavanaugh never said, "Well, yeah, I knew her," or anything like that. With the drinking problem and the other things, he said, I haven't always been the best guy.
Sure,
right. So I think there's more meat there, if you will.
I guess we'll find out once he gets if he makes it to the actual hearings for the confirmation. Then we'll find out if he's going to be Kavanaugh or not, and if they're really going to go after him, guns blazing. So, but
Rob, does this come back to kind of what Trump faced as well as that old story about? Do you want to agree with everything your plumber does, but he does a crappy job, or do you want to know that your plumber kicks his dog every morning, right? But he's going to fix your faucet.
True,
right? So.
Yeah. A lot of interesting times up in Washington right now. And of course, with the attorney general position with Matt Gaetz, that was that one right there. You just thought it's probably not going to happen, but dadgum, the pick after that, Pam Bondi, what a choice. If it's not going to be Gaetz, Pam Bondi is pretty darn good herself. So, and I love the connection to the state of Florida.
Indeed.
On a lot of these choices.
Indeed.
And of course, I think I've told Roger and Charles this, but when we went down to Florida a couple of weekends ago for family get-togethers, I still love when you get into Florida. It's the Sunshine State, Governor Ron DeSantis, but the new sign at the top of it says, "Welcome to the free state of Florida."
How did I know that?
Yes, sir.
Outstanding.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Let's go to the phone line at 12 minutes away from 8 o'clock. Hey, caller, good morning.
Good morning, Rob and Dr. Bates.
Hey.
How are you doing today? Fun Friday.
Mr. Mayor.
Outstanding. I'm doing. How are you, Mr. Mayor?
Well, I'm nice, cozy, and warm because it's cold outside.
It is cold. A little bit of frost on the pumpkin this morning.
Mr. Mayor, would you believe I'm in shorts? Would you believe? I don't know if I can do this or not. Let me see if I can do this on the camera.
He's wearing shorts.
I'm wearing
this morning.
shorts today. Right?
Stand up and let everybody see
Look at that
what
leg.
you wear.
I had to shave twice to get that close.
Yeah, he's showing his leg off to me now.
Well,
you're just trying to show off your pretty leg.
Well, no. Where I work, if it's like 30 degrees outside, like it is now, it will be 130 degrees inside the building.
Ugh.
Good night. I used to work in the courthouse on the third floor, and all the heat downstairs came up, and in the wintertime, I usually wore just short sleeve shirt. And I'd go out across the street for a break, and everybody thought, man, he's tough. He don't even wear a coat, but it was up in my room. So 85 degrees or more.
How have you been? Okay, pretty good?
I'm doing great, but I was just listening to the comments some of the idiots make up there in Washington about accusation of someone having sexual affairs and everything. Let me turn this on the radio. Thing came on automatic. And I'm going to repeat a phrase that a young man 2,000 years ago coined. Let he that is without sin cast the first stone. That's the most ridiculous thing. I mean, if that's the only thing a man ever did wrong is pay for a little entertainment somewhere along the line, how many men can reach 30, 40, 60, 90 years old that has not sometime or other paid for just a little bit of entertainment?
I love the way he says that. Pays for a little bit of entertainment.
That's right.
This is a family show.
Well, you know, that kind of entertainment is free in Nevada.
Oh, God.
Right?
Well,
Right.
in a lot of places around the world, it's free.
I went to a conference a few years
Oh.
ago in Las Vegas, and I kept every receipt. I didn't want there to be any
Yeah,
question.
right.
No, I didn't want any question at all. If I stopped and got a Coca-Cola or a Pepsi somewhere, I kept that receipt, you know.
What did the ladies give receipts?
I wouldn't know. I was at the conference, Mr. Mayor.
He will,
Got you on that one.
I will neither confirm or deny that situation.
That's right. So you're thinking, again, Mr. Mayor, like Rob and I have been talking, when you consider the politicians as a whole that have been forgiven and moved into higher office, or
Yes.
things, you know, that we knew then or they admitted to or what have you. I mean, so what is the big snag on this particular gentleman here? Is what you're saying?
I'm listening.
Yeah, but I mean, are you agreeing with us? What's the big deal, or
absolutely.
should more come out, or what?
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. I think it's ridiculous some of the things they try to bring out and pin on somebody, and they just accusing the one that they're trying to accuse with some of the things that they are all guilty of. The machine runs the country. Good old boy.
Yeah, I kind of use Bill Clinton as a barometer on this. Like, I just imagine somebody going up to Bill Clinton and telling them everything that Hegseth allegedly did, and Clinton's like, "Well, hell, that's a Tuesday for me," you know, because that's. So, do you think you'll get all the way through, Mr. Mayor?
I think what?
Do you think you'll get all the way through? You think we'll get nominated and then approved?
Oh, yes. I believe it will.
By the Senate? Okay.
I mean, they got to find more than that against the man. But, you know, you find somebody that's a worker and a doer and that has interest in the country. They don't want him up there. They want somebody that'll tie power to the good old boy machine. That's what they want. Somebody that they can control.
And I want the American people to get ready for this, Mr. Mayor, because what's going to happen, you know, President Trump, you know, he's a one-termer. All right. That's one thing that's got him terrified. He's only there one term, and he's got a great guy in the on-deck circle. And,
yes.
and so when you go up against a machine like this, the machine is going to hit back. And President Trump has, I think, proven that if you hit him, he's going to hit you back harder. So I think we're going to run into a lot of issues, especially early on, if they really try to apply a great deal of these changes that they're talking about applying. And we know which side the media is on.
Yeah.
And so
I hope he'll hold him, be firm and do what he says to do. But I think about how he criticized Hillary Clinton, and then after he's elected, he said, well, I'm not going to bother. She suffered enough. She hadn't suffered anything. Look how many millions of dollars she's got in the Clinton Foundation, an excuse of a charity. And all she's got, occasionally she's supposed to pay maybe 10% of that out for to be a legal charity. That's biggest. In one of the countries gave her $25 million in just one chunk for her charity, so-called Clinton Foundation, and this bribery, and I know it's just going on, and I don't guess it'll ever stop.
Yeah. Wow. Unbelievable.
Anyway,
well, Mr. Mayor, hope you stay warm up in Sicalina this morning.
Yes, sir. As long as my gas logs work, I will stay warm.
There you go.
Great to hear your voice, sir.
Thank you. I hope everyone has a great day.
Oh, gosh, that's so good. I wanted to read this introduction of Pete Hegseth has wrote several books, and one that was released earlier this year is called The War on Warriors. The introduction to this book is entitled, Then They Came for the Camouflage Class. I joined the Army. This is Pete Hegseth. I joined the Army in 2001 because I wanted to serve my country. Extremists attacked us on 9/11, and we went to war. I became an infantry officer in 2003. I guarded terrorists at Guantanamo Bay in 2004. I led men in combat in Iraq in 2005. I pulled bodies out of burning vehicles in Afghanistan in 2012. I held a riot shield outside the White House in 2020. And in 2021, I was deemed an extremist by the very same Army. Yes, you read that right. 20 years in the military I loved, I fought for, I revered, spit me out. While writing this book, I separated from an Army that didn't want me anymore. The feeling was mutual. I didn't want this Army anymore either. I could have stayed in, which would have required renewing my top secret security clearance and an extensive background check. I've done it many times before, no sweat. I have nothing to hide, but to put it plainly, I don't trust this government, this commander-in-chief, or this Pentagon. That's not to say the situation is permanent, hence this book, but my trust for this Army is broken. Over the last 2 decades, I've lived the story of this book, saw it and fought it firsthand, and will share some of those stories with you. I'm a civilian now, but my fight continues, starting with this book. The War on Warriors is written for my sons and yours, future soldiers maybe. They will either save or surrender our republic. So that kind of gives you a tease of his most recent book. The same Army that I fought for this country spit me out and deemed me an extremist. So you put that puzzle piece into everything else that's going on. Do you see now why he is being attacked so hard? Because he has written several books over the last 3 or 4 years exposing just how the military has become. And let's be honest here. The military, fantastic people all across the board, but the DEI stuff, the trans telling stories to children on these military bases, he exposes a lot of that in a lot of these books, going after the Pentagon, these books. So he's been on a list for a while.
Yes.
And now they're scared of somebody that is a, what do you say? He calls himself a civilian now.
Right.
Who has a military background, potentially serving as the Secretary of Defense. So you see why he is being sought so hard in the media.
And let's not forget that right after President Biden was in office, they immediately started investigating our military for white supremacy, right? They made that real big announcement, right? That our military was a hotbed for white supremacy. Now, when the investigation was over and they discovered that it didn't exist, and we could have saved them a lot of money by telling them that to begin with.
Sure.
Those headlines were much, much smaller, right?
This line right here is great. Our elites are like the drug-addled businessman at Nakatomi Plaza, looking down on Bruce Willis's John McClane in Die Hard. But there will come a day when they realize they need John McClane. That, in fact, their ability to live in peace and prosperity has always depended on guys like him being honorable, powerful, and deadly. I might want to read that book now, War on Warriors. Pete Hegseth got me fired up. But you can see why, just in the introduction of that book, the words he uses, you can see there is another hidden agenda of why they're going after him so hard. Yes.
And if they have evidence that he's still doing all those awful things now, then present it.
Yeah.
But don't bring something up from,
as he said yesterday in his brief statement to the entire media, let's do not try this in the media. Let's get it in front of the confirmation hearing and the senators, and let's let that be public then.
And that's part of Trump's success, Rob, is that the media did not create him, so they do not control him. And that's basically what Pete's saying there as well.
Yeah. So this is going to be, the DeSantis thing was leaked out earlier this week, but you have seen that has gone very quiet since Hegseth has stepped up to the plate and said what he said, and Trump has said what he said.
That's right.
So this is going to be the most interesting confirmation hearing we've had probably since Kavanaugh in the Supreme Court, I would think, because that one was definitely prime time television for sure. So we're going to take a break, and we got some bills to pay off and some Fox News. excess former employer. And we'll get into that coming up. And your phone calls at 485-9191.
business and working overtime workouts.
All right, folks, welcome back in. Hour number 2 kicking off here. About 12 minutes into the 8 o'clock hour. 601-485-9191 is our number. We'd love to hear from you on this very cold start to your Friday morning. Matt Standridge, our weather guy, a few moments ago said 20s again tonight. So it's going to be another cold one. So, of course, the Meridian Christmas Parade is tonight, just a stone's throw from us here at 102.1. Of course, they'll get the parade rolling in Metro Meridian tonight at 5:30. So the big long parade route right down, of course, Dale Drive there. So I believe they're going to have a fireworks spectacular.
Yep.
Of course, it makes sense that Tate's Fireworks is down there. So,
but these Christmas parades, I tell you, it is nice to hear things going off and knowing it's fireworks. Right?
Pew, 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 pew.
In Marion, you don't have to immediately hit the ground, right? Duck and roll to your car. Right? But I love this time of year, obviously, and I love town Christmas parades. They're so much fun.
Newton had their tree lighting and parade last night, so Marion tonight, Meridian tomorrow night at 5 o'clock, and so that's when the parade will happen there. A lot of events going on all weekend. Of course, you got the Bell's Best Cookbook Sale, which is going to get kicked off here in just a few minutes at 8:30, and they'll be there till about 4:45 there at the old Bell South building right across the street from City Hall. So if you want to go snag you a cookbook, or $20, got knives. Miss Teresa called up yesterday and said those were going pretty fast. So head down there and see what they have left available. But it makes a great Christmas gift for that hard to shop person on your shopping list. The world famous Bell's Best Cookbook. Of course, you heard Cash Matlock on news there a few moments ago mention that the Bikers United for Children toy ride begins tomorrow. Registration is over at Chunky River Harley Davidson at 10. Kickstands go up at 1. Of course, the ride will conclude over at College Park Methodist Church, right across the street from MSU Meridian.
That's right.
And, of course, they'll have a lot of big auction items over there and a lot of good fellowship there. And, of course, toys are going to be donated to the Wesley House. So good on the bikers there for doing that big event. And just so many other things going on. Of course, the Meridian Railroad Museum has got a lot of great things going on as well. Mrs. Santa Claus is going to be at the Railroad Museum tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. until noon. They'll have the miniature trains going to be down there. That's also included. And this morning, if you are feasting or looking to feast on some pancakes, the Meridian Scottish Rite Bodies are having their pancake fundraiser now until 2 o'clock at the Meridian Masonic Lodge there on 11th Street. Plates are just $8, and the proceeds will benefit dyslexia programs here locally. So I don't hear anybody say there ain't nothing going on. There's plenty going on.
How come pancakes at places like that they just taste
they
better
really do
than pancakes?
They really do.
Are they able, when nobody's looking, to load them up with some sugar or something? But
they do something to them.
When I hear pancake breakfast or pancakes being sold somewhere locally, I'm going to go.
Exactly.
Amazing.
Also, big shout out to Mary Hope. Of course, the Trees of Mary Hope continues through the rest of the month. Of course, Pictures with Santa will be at Mary Hope this weekend. Actually, it'll be on Sunday afternoon from 1 until 4. Professional photographer Mark Davis will be on hand to take pictures of children with Santa Claus by the Victorian Tree. So that's going to be from 1 until 4 there on Sunday. And also the Meridian Symphony Orchestra, one of the biggest events of the year, Peppermint Pops, will be tomorrow night at 7 o'clock at the MSU Riley Center. The event will also feature the Symphony Chorus and the Meridian High School Honors Chorus as well. So the high school kids will be involved in that as well. So when you start to peel back everything going on, you find more and more and more of what's going on. So folks, get plugged into some of these events and support the community. I know we always talk about shootings and robberies and all the bad going on, and rightfully so. You have to report on that, but there is still a lot of goodness going on out there, especially with Christmas time going on. And to add one more thing to the list, the deadline is quickly approaching for you to make a adoption off the Salvation Army Angel Tree. We still have some children out there that are still looking to get adopted. We have some of those available here at 102.1. If you want to call our business office, 693-3434, and we'll get you all the details on how to get that fixed up as well.
And that's a great way to make sure that you're playing a role that that any child that wakes up on Christmas morning without anything, that you had nothing to do with that.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
I mean, just a thought of that just weighs me down, right?
Yeah.
And so we always do the angel tree as well.
Yeah,
so
it's fun.
Great deal of stuff out there.
So there you go. So folks, get involved and get out there and make a difference in the community.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go to the phone line. Hey, caller, welcome in.
How are you?
Hello, sir. I hope you're not on the front porch this morning. It's mighty cool.
No, I am not.
Okay. About to say.
I called this morning to talk about your discussion yesterday. I didn't call in because you had the Marine Instructor of the Year, and I had things going on as well. But I did catch the part about the city and contracting to add deep wells to the North Meridian treatment plant.
Yeah, about 5,000 feet worth of piping is going to go in that location, I believe, near, I don't have the story in front of me, but it's around the area of 20th Street, I believe, 20th Avenue.
Right. Yeah,
somewhere in that neighborhood. So, yeah.
Oh, the pipe has to do with transferring the water once they drill the well, huh?
I got the story now in front of me here. Let's see. Yeah, it's 5,000 feet of piping that it's going to be. Will include installing the wells and 5,000 feet of piping. The project is the installation of 2 new wells and some transmission main to get it to the treatment plant. Of course, Meridian currently operates 3 wells at its North Freshwater Plant, which is responsible for supplying clean potable water to homes, businesses on the north side of town. So the dividing line between the north and south treatment plants is roughly around 20th Street. So there you go. So that's quoting the Meridian Star from yesterday.
What I wanted to mention was when they originally built that treatment plant, I recall something that I'll never forget, and it was a comment from City Councilman George Thomas, who said that the necessity to fund and construct that plant was to supply water to residents of North Meridian that did not have enough water pressure to wash the soap out of their hair.
How about that?
Yeah, and I'd also like to mention that at the time that they built that treatment plant, if you're not familiar with where it is, it's on the corner of King Road and North Hill Street. And they had a population that was much closer to 50,000 people. Now I think it's 33,000 or 34,
somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah. So what you see is they need more water, and not for residents that are getting the soap out of their hair, but to have enough water supply for the mains that are breaking around the antiquated system.
I guess you heard us mention the loan that is going to be taken out on this. It was, I'm going to read this again. The Mississippi Department of Health is where this approved agreement is coming from. $6.69 million. And Toby, you ready for this? The Drinking Water Systems Improvements Revolving Loan Fund is where the money's coming from. And I'm not familiar with this. We talked about this yesterday. I'm pretty sure you heard us mention this. It's a $6.69 million loan. $4.57 million will be forgiven. So the city is on the hook to pay back $2.1 million. We said that's like the ultimate Black Friday sale of loans right there.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah. If this was back in 2000 when Mayor J.R. Smith was at the microphone, he would have said, others will pay for it.
Yeah.
Some people call it local matching money, where it requires a certain percentage of the local dollars to get the deal.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, they did that with iced tea funds for the what do they call that? The model train station that's now the home of the insurance office.
Right. How about that? How ironic.
Yeah.
I love it. Chuckle there.
Yeah. It is ironic. I'm just saying. Yeah, it is interesting. Of course, that was all passed. It was a 4-1 vote on Tuesday. Dwayne Davis was the only one who said no to the project. So
yeah, I had someone suggest that his I didn't hear this, but that he's more interested in having local people become employees and residents, and as opposed to having outside companies run the city.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the way he thinks.
Yeah, there's one individual that's mentioned in this article. It's I believe it's one of these engineering firms. So what is it? Kimley Horn, I believe, is the engineering firm. They're contracted to help the city with the project. So yeah, that's another outside outfit that's helping with this. So there you go.
Kimberly Horn.
Well, yeah, it's actually, I'm going to spell it for you. It's Kimley Horn. It's Kimley Horn.
Okay,
Yeah,
I thought you said Kimberly.
Yeah.
I thought I had a class with her at Hattiesburg.
Wow, you remember that, huh? Wow.
Right. I don't forget a lot.
So yeah, that's the engineering firm that's quoted here in the paper yesterday relating to this. Yeah, how nice.
Dig, baby, dig.
dig for water.
That's right. That's the Wilcox Aquifer.
There you go. I love it. Well, stay warm out there. Hopefully it'll warm up for the front porch later.
I guess it will. If it doesn't today, it will tomorrow.
Exactly. Well, take it easy out there.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So there you go. Yeah, we discussed that project pretty good length yesterday. I thought that was a heck of a deal right there.
You know, he's always one of the best callers, right?
He really is.
Because he knows his onions, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What doesn't he run? You know,
That's sad.
I mean, he knows the budget back and forward. He remembers what something cost 4 years ago. He's definitely involved, right? We might have, since you and I didn't win, we might have to talk about him. And speaking of George, can I talk about George Thomas's hair for a little bit?
His hair? Okay.
Well, you know, I used to work with him at the university, right? And what irritated me about George was he had this thick head of hair.
Yeah.
George is a little older than I am, and yet he has like twice my hair.
Hmm.
So I can't imagine. That's how my mind works. I hear water, George's hair. How much water did it take to wash George? You know,
The soap out of his hair.
out of George Thomas's hair, right? Because it had to be a lot, right?
I'm offended.
You're offended?
We've been talking about hair all morning. I'm offended.
Oh yeah,
I'm deeply offended.
But you shave yours.
I do. I haven't. Well, I mean, I could grow it out. It's not going.
Of course you could.
More than that,
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, mine's turning gray, turning loose, and you know.
Well, you know, it's interesting. We had Paul Tarver on the program yesterday. When you read the headline, and this was in yesterday's edition of the Meridian Star, it read, "Council moves forward with water well project at North Plant." And for folks that are not plugged into all of the local goings on, there you go, goings on here in East Mississippi and West Alabama. When you hear that, you're thinking about what about the people that were annexed?
Yes,
in the north part of Meridian.
Indeed, that kind of
La 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 la
Right.
la 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 la.
Yeah, I'm like, do I mention that? Or we cut that out of the show?
Yeah,
or?
that'll be on the cutting room floor later. But yeah, when Paul Tarver, when I read in that headline yesterday, his mind immediately went to that, which I think it would a lot of people. But obviously, the North Plant, that piping is going to be around 20th Street, right there.
And that antiquated system he's talking about, I just recently had to replace some pipe in my backyard. I give you 5,000 reasons why I never want to do that again. And it was about 30 years old.
Yeah.
And it was tree roots, even though I didn't have any trees around it. You know, them roots are far and wide, as they say.
Well, yeah, I remember we had David Hodge here on the program. Of course, he's the current public works director for the city. Done a heck of a job, I think, in the administration. And just talking to him both on air and off air about just every little bit of the inner workings of projects, not like this, but just everything going on in Meridian. What do they say? It's not the sexiest part of government,
right,
but it's those everyday things you have to continue to operate as a city. And that comes with a cost.
That's right.
And sometimes it's a very expensive cost. Yeah. Now, in this case, with the additions rather of this piping, yeah, it is a rather large loan, and most of it's going to be forgiven, but still the city is on the hook for $2.1 million of that. And of course, they'll probably shuffle some money around into the executive budget or here or there, and they'll get it all squared away.
In a lot of places,
or pay it over time. Excuse me.
Right. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
But you also think about the passage of time. There's a lot of places in Meridian, around Mississippi, I should say, when these systems were put in, the individuals didn't mind paying so much, even if it meant a little increase in taxes, because they remember growing up and having to go fetch water, as they said,
right,
or drink well water. So the fact that you can turn this, straight well water. In fact, you can turn this faucet and you get this water in this area in the treatment plant. Okay, that's okay. But now what you've got are generations who are just used to turning that on, like you said, without thinking about the cost it takes to get it to them.
Can you imagine just looking at some of the piping under the city right now?
No, I don't want to.
I mean, you talked about antiquated system. Can you just imagine? Just take one portion of Meridian maybe and just look at it and like, wow.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to.
But like I said, that's the micro part of government, the dirty jobs part. It's makes you a little queasy, like you got stuff crawling up your arms or whatever.
I like bacon, but I don't want to pet the bacon before I eat it. Yeah, that's right. I don't want to think about that.
Sorry, Wilbur.
That's right.
601-485-9191 here on the program as we roll through a finally Friday, a fun Friday here on the program. Well, I'll tell you what's fun is making that short drive to Philadelphia and going and seeing our friends at Doc's Toyota, because there's no deal like a Doc's deal.
Absolutely. And like we say before, you want to feel better when you go to the docks and because you go there because you're kind of, you're lamenting, right? You're hurting a little something. You're thinking about something. Go see the doc and you feel better. Doc's Toyota works the exact same way. Christmas right around the corner. And a lot of folks are feeling really good right now. They're thinking the economy is going to turn around. They seem to have, a little bit of memory and history going there. And they're thinking, well, Christmas is coming up. I've got a student that's done really well their first semester in college, or I've got a spouse, I've got a wife or a husband who's, driving the older vehicle just so I can have this nicer one. Folks, take that drive. It is such a short drive up to Philadelphia, Mississippi, Doc's Toyota, 150-120 there on Highway 16 West. They're open right now. They'll be open tomorrow. Now, you can also get online and peruse, if you will, use a big word there, peruse the website, see what they have, what you're looking for. And the great thing is when you go to Doc's, you're not immediately surrounded, attacked, tackled by 3 or 4 salesmen. They actually listen. They listen about what you're looking for, why you're looking for it. They'll ask you questions about how much do you drive and things such as that. And but if you're looking for a particular item that you've seen on their website, or go by the yard and see what they have on the lot, that's what you're going to drive off with. They're going to find a way to work with you. That's what I keep hearing is, I didn't think I could afford this. And they caught me looking over here.
Right.
And it's like, why are you looking over there? Well, let's go work that out. Right.
Yeah.
And that happens, folks. So Philadelphia, Mississippi, not a far drive at all. Doc's Toyota, again, Highway 16 West, Doc's Toyota. Go see them today.
As we were doing that commercial, they keep showing over on the news this morning. I never thought in a million years I would see Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy in the Capitol walking around together, about to be the heads of the DOGE, the Department of Governmental Efficiency. This is a weird time.
And Musk had a small human yesterday on it with him, right?
Yeah, his child.
Oh, that was his kid?
I believe so.
I don't know if he bought, it's Musk. Who knows? He may have bought a child.
You do what you want to, man. Right. You want to buy whatever you want to buy. I mean, that's a little weird if you do that, but just saying.
I saw that on the news. He's walking down these really steep steps with a child on his shoulders. But if you're Musk, why not? Can you imagine the confidence that guy has? And again, they're going after the system.
Yeah.
And this and 2 people who can do it.
Those 2. Oh, right.
Yeah. So I think we're in for some very interesting times.
Yeah, I think out of all of the positions in this cabinet, that particular department that is coming in I think that's going to be the most intriguing going ahead. But I was just every time I look up and I see those 2 walking together in the Capitol and surrounded by the media, I'm like, wow, we are living in 2024.
Indeed.
So we're going to take a break here on Mornings in Meridian and got some Your Money Now followed. We got Fox News first, and we'll see what's going on in the world and take more of your phone calls after this at 485-9191. Folks, it's a fun Friday, Christmas season, parades everywhere. Get out and enjoy it and stay warm.
big my tires, 3 shotgun shells, 2 hunting dogs, and some parts to a Mustang GT. Are you crying?
Oh, just my allergies. Happy holidays, everybody.
I had to sneak that one in there on you, Toby. A little Foxworthy in the 12 redneck days of Christmas.
Well, those probation days come in. They,
they kind of sneak in on you, right?
A little bit.
A little can of spam in there and all that. So.
Or big my tires.
So, but Merry Christmas, though, folks, and having a little humor this morning on a fun Friday as we're 23 minutes away from 9 o'clock and some Glenn Beck. And, if you're out Christmas shopping today, swing by and see the staff over at Trucker Supply, because I promise you, you're going to find something for somebody on your Christmas list, because they got a big sale going on right now.
Huge sale. And I should have asked.
Huge.
I picked this up, and it's catalog here from Trucker Supply and all these Milwaukee tools. I circled like 5 things before I thought, this isn't mine.
It's kind of like when Ralphie puts the magazine on Mom's bed or whatever with the Red Ryder BB gun. So I put that specifically there for you.
Well, I appreciate that. And I circled stuff in ink. I'm sorry about that. But no, it's what's fantastic. And of course, there's always deals at Trucker Supply. But, many of us play a version of Dirty Santa.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard what's it? It's Dirty Santa, Sexy Santa, Stripper Santa. I forget all the different names.
Wow.
Yeah, well, it's my family. But you generally have somewhere like a monetary limit you're not supposed to go over. And I'm seeing all these things here, and I saw one thing that I have, and I want to brag on it. The Milwaukee brand is
top notch.
As tough as the people from Milwaukee. And they have these hard hat headlamps, these red lithium, and these things are as bright as any car I drove as a kid, right? With their headlights. And I was once given one of these hard hat headlamps, and then made fun of, because they're like, Toby, you don't work on cars, And I do. I go take a shower after I pump gas, But I use it for a nightlight.
Wow.
When I'm reading.
Wow.
There you go.
Isn't that sad? But it will outlast me. My grandson will be playing with this thing, just because of the quality, folks. So go down there and see them. And they have been around as long as I have, right? 1969. Wow. DW Car Family, and they've still got that great car family hospitality, and glad to see you when you come in the door. And when you see that counter there, look for the specials, right? They've always got those specials, stack of specials over there. Just go over there and pick that up, and you'll buy 2 or 3 of those things, and plus what you walked in the door to have. So Trucker Supply, it's a great place to go for Christmas shopping, and go by and see them today, 519 Highway 19 South, just down from Sam's. Big red, white, and blue patriotic building. That's right.
And I love some of those flags they have flying outside the building as well.
Indeed.
Nice looking red, white, and blue flags. Just saying. 20 minutes away from 9 o'clock in Glenn Beck here on WALT 102.1. And Toby, I was going to get your take. Of course, this happened a couple of days ago. Supreme Court hearing involving the surgeries on children when it comes to gender reassignment surgery. Of course, the Tennessee decision that came down earlier this year where they banned those type of procedures in the state of Tennessee, of course. So that has now been brought toward the Supreme Court, and they had the hearings earlier this week. A very lengthy 2 or 3 hour deal, the arguments back and forth. And I never thought we'd be living in a world where we're actually having this argument at the Supreme Court, but that's exactly what happened this week. So I just want to get your take on that.
And the ages of the children is what we're probably concerned about, right?
Yeah.
Because everything else is kind of downhill from there. Well, think about all the things you wanted to be when you were a kid. I wanted to be a fireman. I wanted to be a police officer.
Yeah.
Well, God forbid if I said I wanted to be a girl, right? Because this surgery, they talk about how it's reversible. No,
it's not.
Folks, the ones this particular issue was talking about, they are not. And so you're right. We're in very uncharted water here, because the Supreme Court never considered that they would deal with an issue like this.
No, never.
And I think that's one thing President Trump's wanting to do is having the Supreme Court and the federal government start dealing with what they were built to deal with, and issues such as what we've been talking about be done at the state level.
Sure.
But that can be problematic when you're dealing with places like California.
Yeah,
that are Trump-proofing their state, as they put it. But no, the fact that you can have that kind of surgery for a child that's not old enough to vote, right? Drink, smoke, own a gun, serve in the military, right? And on down the line. But that surgery is being pushed, or that choice of that surgery is being pushed on them, and without parent notification, which is just extraordinary, right? And when you hear people go in for outpatient surgery a lot, I will tell my friends who are having that, who are a little nervous, I said, well, there's no such thing as outpatient surgery. Your body sees it as trauma.
Sure.
Right? Even as outpatient, right? Well, this is trauma, right? And which one of you listening to my voice right now would allow your children, right, without your knowledge, to have this kind of trauma?
We're talking 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, folks.
Indeed.
I mean, come on, man. Really?
But we didn't reach this point overnight.
No, we don't. No,
we went through a
not.
series of there's judges and cases and that people who saw no problem with this, right? And that's why we've reached this point.
Do you think, and we brought this discussion up yesterday, do you think, and I don't think it'll go this way, but you never know, do you think it'll be kind of like the Roe v. Wade decision where it goes back, hey, the states make that decision on this particular issue, or is this a little too extreme to make it a state decision, considering what it is? So abortion and this particular issue, similar in some sense, but I don't know if you leave this up to the state. But I don't know. We'll see what happens.
And that's the tricky part. Like I said,
yeah, it is. That's why I'm kind of like, because
our beliefs are, state, local power, federal government to handle things that were intended, right?
Sure.
And this was something that I don't think anybody ever foresaw reaching this point.
No.
And it did it awfully fast.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. Did very, very quickly. So, but I know there's been a lot of states that have said no, no, and no. Tennessee's not the only one. Mississippi, others have just stood up and said absolutely no way, no way. So let's go back to the phone line here on Mornings in Meridian. Hey, caller, welcome in.
Good morning, guys. I come in peace. Love everybody. And there's nothing you can do about
Mississippi James, good morning.
All right. Dr. Bates, how are you this morning?
Outstanding. How are you?
All right. Doing pretty good.
Wonderful.
Now, the subject you guys are talking about a year ago, I brought it up because I was out there in the underground, as I call it, underground economy. And I was asking about the kids about going out to MCC, take some of them programs, welding, electronic, plumbing. And one of the guys told me, he said, hey, they're not interested in going to school. I said, can you tell me why? And in their mind, they were saying, going to school will either get you in jail or get you gay, make you gay. And just about a year ago, I brought this out. Now we're talking about it is out, I guess, mainstream. But this is what those kids were saying. They go to school and this stuff is perpetuated on them. And they didn't want to be gay or they didn't want to be turned to a girl or whatever. So when you look at it, it's a lot of stuff out there that we got to unravel.
Yeah.
Well, James, which one am I?
Which one am I?
Oh, gosh. What you say?
Which one am I?
What you mean?
Am I gay or am I in jail? Well, I've done one.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Well, see, you was old enough to get past it. But kids. We talking about the younger kids, the younger children that's going through this process. Now, you was old enough to make your choice. Where do you want to be? But we talking about stuff that they believe is being perpetuated on them.
And you're talking about at the young age, like elementary school and things like that?
Right. From there on up to high school, and they looked at this, so they knew before we knew as adults, before it made it to mainstream. And I just I just go out there and talk to them so I can meet them where they are. And when they first told me that, I say, go to jail and going to jail, that's getting back to that school to prison pipeline. Yes, that was real. It may have shut down a little bit now. And then getting gay, because at one time, the school couldn't even get a kid an aspirin. They would have to get permission from the parents. Now they can go to school and it's called a safe haven. So if a kid come to school and say, hey, he feel like he's a girl today, well, they have to use those pronouns to call him that. And then they keep going, and like you say, they give them the hormones, different things, up to the surgery. So it's a lot we got to unravel to get this back to where it needs to be. And I may not be the person to say where it needs to be, but, it's some discussion that we got to have. With some serious discussion.
Yeah, and I think there was a lot of serious back and forth there with the court and those attorneys back on Tuesday. It was a very intense 3 hours up there on the Hill. So,
yes.
And it is, James, it is a little frustrating too, for me, because I'll hear Fox News say, or others say, that they're going to college and getting indoctrinated, or high school and getting indoctrinated. I've worked at 2 universities, and I would tell you if I did, but I haven't seen that. I have not witnessed that at all. Even with folks that I disagree with certain things on. I've seen it at other universities. Of course, we've all seen it or heard about it.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. But I have not seen it at all, or even been aware of it, of it being a serious problem of indoctrination or anything like that. But what's happening is you're getting, these independent cases, and who I hurt for are the teachers. The elementary school teachers, especially, who are now they're getting painted with a broad brush. That's all they do. It's like the one bad police officer, right?
Yeah, the one bad apple ruins the bunch.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right there you go. And so now all police officers are suddenly bad.
Yeah.
So you're right, though. The fact that it's even in the system anywhere, it's going to take time. We didn't get here overnight, but it sure does seem like we did.
Yeah.
Right.
When it exploded.
Yeah.
When it exploded, and everybody see it now.
Yeah.
But those few stragglers that was out there speaking on it in the beginning, it's not that way. Oh, you the term tripping. Oh, you tripping, Oh, you illusioner.
Well, James, when did you think it flipped? I mean, I could get aspirin when I went to school. I could also get a paddling, and they didn't have to call mom and dad, right, to get permission. When do you think it flipped? When did you think it started? We started down this road just in certain areas.
I don't know. I would have to say, if I guess, I'd say somewhere around the 70s. And then you look at, I even throw the word integration in there. A lot of dynamics shifted when integration was taking place. And people's had, and I like to say stuff in 1/3, 33 and a third. For integration, 33% of the people was for it. 33% of the people was not for it at all. Now that 33 in the middle is the one that gets, swing either way. Hey, we okay with it, whatever. So you get back to your 100%. But I do know a lot of stuff, even as blacks, integration. We looked at it, a lot of blacks in the 70s looked at it as though God smiled on us. Hey, we integrated. We can go to any movie theater, any park. We thought that was a God thing, and didn't realize it became an economic thing, because you start supporting other people's activities and venue, and then no longer funded yours. And so much stuff in the black community collapsed because black people was going to other places to use other activities and other venues. So it was more of an economical thing than it was a God thing. But so many people, get misplaced priorities. And then once that train get going, it'd be a while, before you say, oh, Lord, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
But some people just don't have the foresight to see where it's going. And some, are stragglers. And then the voice for a few that will come out. So it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
That old saying say, oh, well, what a web we tangle.
Well, good to hear from you this morning.
All right. You guys take care. Have a good day.
You do the same, James. Appreciate you. 601-485-9191. But before we move on here, I need to thank Doug Martin Sr., Doug Martin Jr., and Stacy at Martin Roofing.
You say, I like how you do that,
Stacy.
And it was good to hear from James again.
Absolutely.
Folks like James is why we're going to get through this stuff. You mentioned at the very beginning of the show, we were talking about, having to spend money on things that, it just, we don't want to, but they're so necessary.
Gotta do it.
And we want to make sure we get quality. Folks, a roof is exactly the same thing, right? And Martin Roofing will fix you up over 3 decades, right? Over 30 years in business. And in this line of work, again, word of mouth will kill you if you don't do it and you don't do it right. Now, they do shingles and metal and commercial roofings, rubber roofings. They'll come out also and give you an estimate and do inspections for your and for any kind of damage. What I enjoy are the people that call them and they come out and give them a free estimate, and they're like, they leave and they're like, oh, they got another good 5 years on that roof, and they're stunned that Doug or no one else tried to sell them a roof. They're like,
amazing.
You know, just give me a call in 5 years when you need one, or in case you have some storm damage. And again, this weather systems we got coming in, this up and down heat and the snow and the hail and the ice that's coming. Folks, you want that roof to be right and you want it to be done right. You can find it that way at Martin Roofing. So give them a call, Doug Senior or Doug Jr., 601-485-5920, 601-485-5920. That is Martin Roofing.
All right, we're going to take a break and wrap up the show right after this. Might have time for one more phone call at 485-9191. We'll be back.
Monday's blue, Tuesday's grey, and Wednesday too. Thursday, I don't care about you. It's Friday, I'm in love.
Aren't we all in love with Friday? Got about 4 minutes left here on the program. Folks, I hope you have a great weekend. Get plugged into a local event and get out there and support something. And, of course, the Scottish Rite Annual Pancake Fundraiser is going on right now. at the Meridian Masonic Center on 11th Street till 2 o'clock this afternoon. $8 a plate. Of course, the funds are going to benefit the area dyslexia programs. You got the Bell's Best Cookbook sale continuing till 4:45 this afternoon at the old Bell South building across from City Hall. You just look for the big banner down there, and they'll get you squared away. And a ton of Christmas parades. Meridian tonight.
That's right.
Meridian tomorrow night, and a lot of other ones happening next week. Mary Hope, the toy run with the Bikers United for Children, you name it, it is going on this weekend.
Mrs. Claus will be in the area.
Yeah, Mrs. Claus is going to be down at the Railroad Museum, so no excuse not to get involved in something happening this weekend.
Yeah, when folks say about Meridian, there's nothing to do, it's kind of the same feeling I get when I open the refrigerator and say, I don't have anything to eat. Right. I have plenty in that refrigerator. Right.
There you go.
So just pick something, folks, and go out and support these folks who are, because every one of these events you hear, they do every year, sometimes more than once a year. And, they're giving back to the community. And it's a chance for you to help, as well as the Angel Tree and some of the other events we talked about as well.
I want to wish Jackson State University big good luck. They're playing for the SWAC championship tomorrow over in Jackson.
That's right.
They're at Veterans Memorial Stadium against Southern University. That'll be a 1:00 game, and it will be televised on ESPN2. So good luck to the JSU Tigers. Of course, if they can win that one, they'll play for the HBCU National Championship coming up in about maybe a week or so. So good luck to them. JSU, I tell you what, since Coach Prime left there, they're still just kind of chugging right along.
That's right. And if you go to the game in person, don't leave at halftime, get something to drink, and come
back.
Watch that band.
The Sonic Boom.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's something else. I remember going to a state game one year and they performed, and that was worth every bit of going to that football game. So it is conference championship weekend. Of course, no Alabama football here on WALT this weekend. Of course, they did not make the SEC title game, but there is a chance they make it into the college football playoff. But Georgia and Texas are playing for the SEC crown. I never thought I'd say Texas and SEC. They're playing for that championship tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock. It will be televised locally on WTOK, ABC at 3 o'clock, and all the other conference championship games are this weekend as well. Oregon, Penn State in the Big Ten, Arizona State and Iowa State in the Big 12, and of course you've got a handful of those happening tonight. So it's hard to believe football season's about to wrap up at the collegiate level, or as I like to tongue-in-cheek say, the semi-pro level.
That's right.
So.
And President Trump will be at a pretty important game coming up.
It has been announced next weekend is one of my favorite all-time sporting events, the Army-Navy game. And President Trump has announced that he will be at the ball game next week. And I'm pretty sure he is going to be welcomed in a very loud roar of cheers when Army and Navy get together. And those two teams are pretty darn good this year. Army's playing for a conference title tonight.
That's right.
And Navy won 9 ball games this year. So that may end up being a pretty darn good ball game next week. But he has announced he will be there at the Army-Navy game next week. So add football to your list this weekend. So there you go. And of course, the NFL boys are still going strong as well. So, well, Toby, been a pleasure.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate
you back in. Stay warm. Well, you got your shorts on. I was going to say stay warm.
I'll be all right.
There you go. Folks, have a great weekend. Stay safe out there. And what do we always say? Buy local. See you, folks.